Good morning everyone, and welcome back to Craft Eccentricity. And here we are, glorious Friday. Yes, it's like riding around on a horse, isn't it, at full speed. Right, we are up with a KSCRAFT and Let's Make This. And today we're doing the house box, and we're also going to use the spooky stamps and matching die. Right, move those out of the way. Now, first of all, I will tell you that I have made one already. So I did a Christmas one, and I used some of the Creative Path Christmas ephemera there, which is quite sparkly. And if they still do this pack, I'll link it below because it's just so sweet. And there's the little Christmas lights that come with it. And the pack that I'm using today is, oh, let me get this right. I think it's All Wrapped Up, and it's by Down This Road, and it's available on Snap Click Supply. So that's a digital pack. But isn't that cute? I love that. It's so sweet. And let me measure it before we get into the next one. The one that we're going to make today is a Halloween one, because we need a box for all seasons. Right, I'm only going to measure the bit where you would put your goodies in. So that is 3 3/4 inches by 3 1/8, and then the depth, let's go down here, let's make sure we are at 2 3/8 and 3 1/8. So you can see it's quite a big box. It is. It's a lovely little box. You can put a bow in the handle if you want to, or some twine, and an extra little tag. But there it is, all its sweet little details. Right, so that is the Christmas one. Now we're going to do a Halloweeny one, and I have tried to be organised. And also you'll notice on the Christmas box, because I used ephemera, I didn't use the windows that come with the die, but this time we have. So here's my level of organisation, and I have cut 2. So you have to cut 2 to do this, and you can see here all of your score lines where you're going to fold it. So you're going to fold here, and we're going to do that in a second. This bit is different. This will fold out rather than fold in. So we've done it. We've got the windows. I have done the roof sections. You get a rectangle, and you get a lacy rectangle, and I've pre-done these because I wanted to glue some stars on. So those are my roof pieces for this box. So I've done my rectangle in purple and my lacy bit in black, and you're going to need 2 of those, just like on this box here where it's done in pink and white. Right, I have also, because I've got windows, been away and cut 4 pieces of cardstock, because I've got 4 windows. One is a little bit longer than the other, and I'm going to glue that behind so it looks like I've got lovely yellow candlelight coming through. And I have stamped and cut 2 ghosts, because I want to be able to lay one on top of the other, because I need some weight in it. And there is another piece that I've cut, and I can't find it. So I'm looking under my paper here thinking, where on earth did I just put that? Right, here it is. It is a very thin slither, probably a 1/4 of an inch there, of acetate. So we're going to be using that, and I'm going to put that down right here where I'm not going to lose it again. Right, so the first thing that I want to do is I want to glue, I'm going to use this piece actually, my piece of acetate onto here before I lose it. And when I say glue, I think I'm going to use some tape. I think that will be the best way to go, because putting glue onto plastic, it doesn't set very quickly. So I want to go into the center, so I'll just flip that over. I'm using Alina Craft adhesive tape, and I'm just going to pop a piece down here. And I want to do this now before I glue it onto the roof, because that's where I want it erupting from. So if I take my slither here and just pop it down there. Now I'm not going to lose that now because it's firmly fixed, and I hope that you can see that. We've now got a long strip of acetate coming out of our roof, which is what we want. And when it is compiled, I hope you can see that, we're going to have it bending forwards. So I'm just going to move that one out of the way before I lose it. There we go. Right, so that is that bit done. And now I want to glue in the windows. So I've got 2 to do. So we'll do one and then I'll run off and do the other. And then you're not sitting around forever. So we'll just get our glue in here. Just going all the way around. Put my top back in my bottle. I'm telling you, these bottles should come with a magnifying glass. And I've actually got my glasses on. And I just fiddle and faddle for ages trying to get this pin back in. There has to be a better way, that's what I say. Necessity is the mother of invention. We must come up with something. Right, so onto this one, I've got my largest piece of cardstock. So I just want to pop that down, and without touching my glue, I'm just flipping it over to make sure that there's no gaps. And then we're going to pop the next one down. Move that away from my fold edge, don't want that there. And so that is what our little housey bit is looking like right now. I'm just going to go and do exactly the same thing to the other one, and I'll be right back. Okay, so both sets are done and they've got the yellow behind the windows. And if my camera has turned a weird colour, then I do apologise. Right, now next is the score lines, which are on the outside here. Let's see if we can get up close. There you go. I haven't, you know, really used the correct sort of paper for showing it up, because this is one of those, what do you call it, linen kind of paper. Now, of course, you should use your bone folder, but you know me. And you're going to go straight the way across like that on all of your score lines. So just tease them down. And if you get confused, you can see that you're meant to fold to that point there and no further. So just track it along with your fingers. And then you've got one here. So we're going to fold that in. And it should just match up with that one. Straight the way across. So you've now got those bits folded. This bit is folded. And now you need to do your edge pieces. Now this is normally where, you know, you should really behave yourself and get your bone folder out, and I will do that in a second just to make sure it's got a nice neat edge. And then we're doing the roof. I just touch the paper really gently and it just finds where that score line is supposed to be. So just support it with your hand and go along. And you can just bend those back. Now this one has got a score line just under the handle there, but you don't want to fold that in, you want to fold that one out. So I think first of all the best thing to do is to find it by folding it that way so that you know that you've got it. And then once you know you've got it, fold it back out, because it should take that line then. So I'm just going to get my bone folder and just gently do that. So now that we've got that bit done, I'm going to run off and do the other one, and I will be right back. Okay, so those are scored and bent, and I'm putting those off to one side. The next thing I want to do is attach my ghost to my roof piece. Now what I do know, if I just grab my ruler and measure quickly just off camera, I don't want it to be more than 3 inches. So I'm going for 3 inches on my strip of acetate, and I did cut it long. Now I'm allowing for a loop on my finger there, and then I'm going to cut that away from my finger about there. So for anybody that wants to do this, I'm going to measure now how much my piece of acetate is sticking out of that roof piece. And we are 4 3/4 inches. So now the next thing I need to do is bring in my 2 ghosts. Now we're going to put this down flat, and I really hope that you can see this piece. Now your ghost should face the same direction. Now hang on, I've done that wrong, haven't I? Yeah, your back of your ghost has got to go there because your front of your ghost is going to come over. Yes, right. So the back of our ghost is going to go here, and what we don't want is more than 3 inches between there and there. So we have to measure the height of our ghost, and our ghost is just a fraction under. So it could be that we've got to trim our acetate even more. But don't forget, he's also going to be dangling in the air. And as I said, you want it to be about 3 inches in total. I'm going to go for 3 1/4. I'm going to be brave. That's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to snip that off, and I'm going to do it there. And now we can get a better measurement, because what you have to bear in mind is the angle and then the dangle and the shape of the element that you're going to be putting on there. And the reason I'm doing it double thickness is not just because I want to, you know, sort of like make it doodah. It's to give it a little bit of extra weight, and also to hide that piece of acetate inside. So let's measure that now. This will be the correct measurement of the length of acetate that needs to come out of your roof, and that is 1 3/4 inches. So from that big long sliver, you need a 1 3/4 inch to stick out above. Doesn't matter how far behind here you go, as long as you've got 1 3/4 inches here. Right, so now then, because that's going to be coming this way, we need this to be the back of the ghost. So I'm going to run some glue, and I'm going to leave the top part open and just poke it inside. So that's what I'm going to do. So let's get some glue here, and you want this element to be quite solid, so make sure you've got some glue in the center of your object, because it's something, you know, that people will play with. Right, so that has to go on that way. Right, what I'm not doing yet is putting the hat section down. I want to be able to slide my acetate into there, and I'm just bending it over. I'm threading it down. I'm going to go a little bit longer. There. That will do. And we're just going to squeeze that so that what you've got now is a waving ghost. He's doing a bungee jump over the roof of the house. And then we can just hold that there, and then you can squeeze a little bit on your acetate to make sure that that bit is going to dangle exactly where you need it. Now I'm hoping that when this goes onto the box, the ghost will not touch the table. It will be able to swing a ding freely. So that is that bit, and we need to glue that on next. So here we go. We've already folded all of our pieces. Actually, you know, I think I'm going to put the house together first and stick those on last. Right, let's go in for the roof. Make sure I've got that down nice and flat. If you ever end up with any little gaps, don't worry about it, because you'll be able to stick them down flat afterwards. And anybody who's watching me will already know that I've made an error, because I was supposed to have done that first, wasn't I? So what I'll do is I'll have to stick that into there. So just get some glue along here and slide that bit in. Make sure that you've got it straight. That looks right to me. So there was a good error for a Friday. So we've got that bit stuck down, which means we can now stick the other roof pieces. It's kind of hard to really get good glimpses of what I'm exactly doing. I've been saying for a long time that I need a new camera, and I don't know whether my husband's going to buy me one for Christmas, because he's already bought me a big fruiting tree for Christmas, which will be delivered on the first week of January, but I live in hope. So I'm just going to let that dry for a second and I'll be right back. Right, so that's dry, and the next bit is to do this little piece of the roof and this side, and then that will go together. You want your smaller bits, I'll just open the box there, on the inside, and your larger ones on the outside. You can do it the other way around if you want to. I just think it just looks nicer with the long bits there. So now I just need to pop some glue here and bring that one across. I'm going to do my long piece last. Just want to make sure that my roof is on straight. I'll hold that for a second, only because we've got high humidity, and I'll be back. Right, so that's dry, and the next thing is to do this side here. So just uncap my glue once again, and I'm just going in there. Put a bit on there, so I'll wipe that off, and you just want to bring that down, get it nice and straight, and wipe that glue off. And I'm just going to hold it like that, and I'll be right back. Okay, so the next thing you would do is cram it full of goodies and then close it up. You can of course do it through the top. I personally just think it looks tidier this way around. And then you just need some glue or a fancy label or some tape, and just stick the base down. So just line it up nice and straight and pop that on there like that. Right, I'll hold that and I'll be right back. Right, so the base is nice and glued, and we can pop the roof on now. So that's basically what our box looks like all the way around with its windows. Now, me personally, I would also glue this shut. So I'm going to do exactly that. I'm going to glue my handles shut. And then just pretending that there's stuff in there, and then whoever received it would, you know, tear the box open. You can pop a little bit of ribbon or a tag on the handle there. So that's all neatly done. Now we want to put our roof pieces on, so here's our little ghost that's hanging, and I just need to go around the edges here, and there is just a little slight overlap. I hope you can see the angle there. I'm trying to line it up. You want to go just below the handle and pop that on. So we've got our jiggly little ghost. As I said, there is some humidity here, so if my cardstock is looking a bit wavy, I do apologise. And then just looking at where your lace pieces kind of hang out here, if I tip it that way, see they stick out a little bit. Just line up your roof piece to match that. Okay, I think that will do. And there is our Jiggly Ghost Halloweeny box. Make sure that handle is closed. We've got the little lighted windows, and then of course we've got the Christmas one. So really, you know, it's one of those again that you can use for all seasons. Right, that is what I have for you today. Isn't that cute? You could actually use one of those spinners as well, and I have got them on my desk. I don't know why I didn't use them, but you could totally do that. Right, where was I? Oh yes. I thank you so much for joining me today. I really do hope you have an absolutely fabulous weekend. I'm going to be back off into the garden again doing who knows what. I've still got a few elderberry flowers that I'm hovering over and wondering if they're going to give me some berries. So I might put some, what do you call them, organza bags on top of those, because the birds enjoy eating them too. And although I don't mind sharing stuff with the birds, you know, I like to know that I'm going to get some too. So, once again, thanks so much for joining me. Have an absolutely wonderful weekend, and as usual, all links below. Bye.